Stop letting fear paralyze your potential. If you're an entrepreneur terrified of failing, this episode is going to hit you hard. The truth is, your fear of failure is rooted in something much deeper, and it's likely one of the 7 deadly sins, and you're feeding into it every single day. Let's get it. Yo, what's going on, family? Welcome back to another beautiful, blessed, abundant moment. This is the Ace Anderson Show, where we go live every Monday morning to provide you with weekly inspirational and entrepreneurial tips and tricks to help you ace your life. So I want you to congratulate yourself for making it to another beautiful dawn with me, your dedicated guide on this journey of self-discovery and growth. If you don't know by now, I am an actor, rapper, filmmaker, poet, the ace of all trades, the modern Renaissance man, Ace Anderson, and I am so happy to be here with you all for another blessed week. Now, as we embrace this first light together, I want to extend a special shout out to all you early morning risers joining in live. Your dedication to starting the day with intention and positivity is what makes the A-Team extraordinary. So grab your favorite morning brew. You know, I like to drink alkaline water, and let's explore, illuminate, and inspire ourselves to be better with mindful conversation. Now, today, I'd like to discuss, every time you feel anxious or overwhelmed or stuck, it's because you've fallen out of alignment with your true self, with God, with your higher purpose. Your emotions aren't just random, they're signals, right? If you feel bad, you're out of alignment, plain and simple. So let's explore what's really going on when fear takes over and why it's sabotaging your entrepreneurial dreams. So as we embark on this week's adventure, let's remember to align our hearts with the fruit of the Spirit. That's love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Let us trust these divine 9 to guide us on the path to living a life that resonates deeply with our most authentic desires. So without further ado, let's get into it. So we're talking about the root of fear, a battle between faith and the 7 deadly sins. Now, first, I want to start off by defining what sins are, right? Because a lot of people, when we talk about sins, when we talk about God, it feels like this external force, right? But everything that the Bible talks about, everything that all of these teachings are here to help us from an internal perspective, right? We are God's. We are aligned with I am. Our ability to say I am makes us as God, and we are able to create in the same image of God, in the same likeness of God. Because we have the ability to speak and carve up the world into what we imagine, what we only see in our heads, we can then turn into real life. So when we talk about sins, right, sins are, sin comes from an archery term called hamartia. It's an archery term. That's where it's derived from. Hamartia means to miss the mark. So if you imagine that you're where you are, you're at point A, and you're going on a straight path towards point B, like you're trying to hit a target, point B. And when you throw a dart or you shoot an arrow, if you miss that arrow, if you miss the mark, then you are sinning, right? So that's what it means to sin, is to miss the mark of the target that you're aiming for. And we've discussed previously that we're all aiming towards a heavenly state, right? Whether or not you believe heaven exists, we're all aiming towards a heavenly state, which is characterized by love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Those are the only reasons why you do anything, why you act, why you move, why you want to go anywhere, because why else would you want it? The only reason you want anything that you want. There's no audio? What? Really? Are you serious? No, it's got to be audio. Let me see. No, there's definitely audio, brother. So I don't know. It's something about your thing. Anyhow, um, when when we're moving towards something that we desire, right? We are deciding to we're moving towards something that we desire, and the only reason why we want anything that we desire is because we believe that we will feel better in the having of it, right? So the goal ultimately is to feel better, right? That's the heavenly state that we're seeking. We want to experience heaven. We want to experience a state where everything is working out for us, where everything is good, where we are in a state of experiencing love and joy and peace and patience and kindness and goodness and faithfulness and gentleness and self-control. Those are the reasons why we want to do anything, right? So when we do things that are counter to that, it's a sin, right? It's not a external imposed act of judgment, right? This is all internal, and when we experience negative emotion, is because we are out of alignment with source energy, and being out of alignment with source energy feels bad, because imagine, like, the source of everything is abundant in nature, and you're not with it. You're not with the abundance of everything. You're in nothingness. And so when you're experiencing nothingness, you feel bad. Duh, right? So the goal is to get in alignment with source energy. The goal is to get in alignment with everything that you desire. And so when you're sinning, it's not like somebody's like, oh, you just committed a sin, right? It's your internal being acknowledging, like, dang, I missed the mark. I'm feeling bad right now. And that's your best indicator, right? So fear of failure isn't just fear. It's a deadly mix of pride, of envy, of greed, of sloth, right? Do these things sound familiar at all? These are not just concepts from ancient scripture. They're still the way, right? These are things, we can talk about pride, right? When you're too afraid to fail, because you think it'll ruin your image or reputation, that's pride whispering in your ear, right? When you think it's like, I don't want to fail, and I'm just going to pretend like I didn't, and no matter what, I'm just going to look at everything. And there's a caveat to this, right? Like, it's like, no matter what, I'm going to make it seem good. I never want to look bad. And you're worried about your image. You're worried about what people think of you, what other people think of you. And the only thing that matters is what you think of yourself, right? And when you're more concerned with what people will think than what God wants you to achieve, and when I say God, I mean your inner being, I mean everything that you're striving towards, when you're more concerned with that, then you end up, that's when you're experiencing pride, right? And Matthew 23:12 says, for those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted, right? And you notice that's not just like some, ancient scripture, biblical mumbo jumbo, right? Like you experience that when people have big egos, when people have, big egos, and they're so boastful, right? When they fail, it's like the bigger they are, the harder they fall. We see them tumble, like crumble, because they are not prepared for that experience. But the people that walk around and they're so humbled and easy to work with, and they're always willing to learn, and they're always willing to put themselves in the novice position to be able to learn, those people get exalted. You love working with those people. It's like, I want to work with that guy. I want to work with that woman, right? And so that's where your ability to separate yourself from pride comes in handy, right? You want to humble yourself at all time, right? You want to live a humble life. You want to live close to the ground, close to the earth, right? You want to live in such a way that you're aligning with with the source of everything, right? And that's gravity is literally attracting you to the source of energy of everything. So you want to stay low to the ground, connected to solid ground, right? Envy, right? Ever caught yourself comparing your journey to someone else's success, right? That's envy creeping in. You're not aligned with your own path. You're fixated on somebody else's path, which leads you to self-doubt and paralysis, right? When the Olympics was just happening, right? And we know that when runners run, they should only be fixated on their path. As soon as they look over, they slow down, because you can't be focused on somebody else's path in your path at the same time and optimize your own journey, right? So you want to make sure that you're constantly aligned with your own, you're fixated on your path, right? And you should never compare yourself to who someone else is today. You should only compare yourself to who you were yesterday. That's the only comparison that's ever appropriate, right? Any other comparison, you'll always fall short of glory. You'll always hate yourself. You'll always put yourself down. You'll always look at other people and say, oh, I wish. And then you'll experience this feeling of not enoughness. And that not enoughness is out of alignment with source, because source energy is abundant and source energy doesn't experience not enoughness. Source energy is the source of everything. Like, source energy can't be not enough. So you have to get back in alignment with source. And that leads us into greed, right? Greed, your fear of not having enough money or resources. That's greed driving you, right? When you make decisions out of fear of scarcity, like, oh, what if I don't have this thing? What if I can't get this thing? What if this thing doesn't happen, right? Well, then you make all these decisions out of scarcity. You're out of alignment with abundance, because abundance doesn't experience that, right? Which is the abundance is promised to you in Matthew 6:33. Seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given unto you as well, right? So when you align with your personal desires, right? You align with the personal desire to experience love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. That's it. That's the only thing you should be focused on. Not the specifics of what you want that you believe will make you feel that way. Don't focus on those specifics. Focus on the feeling. What thoughts can lead me to feeling a way that will allow me to experience love and joy and peace and patience and kindness and goodness and faithfulness, right? What experiences what thoughts can I put myself towards thinking, right? And if I can't find those specific thoughts, then I quiet my mind. I meditate. I find a way to get myself back to the natural state of being, to my dream state. And then when I wake up, once I awaken from that dream state, my only mission is to maintain that same level of peace and calm that I was able to achieve in my dream state. Maintain that while I'm awake, right? And then you become a deliberate creator of your life, because now you're aligned with source energy. You're aligned with attracting positive energy. You're aligned with attracting good to your life, which invites more good. It's like attracts like, right? Then we have sloth, when you avoid taking action because you're afraid of failure. That's a lot of us, right? That's laziness disguised as fear, right? Or fear disguised as laziness, whichever one, whichever way you want to look at it, right? Sloth convinces you that it's safer to do nothing than to risk failure. But inaction is the worst sin of all, honestly. And I know you've experienced this. There's been times where you might have an impulse to do something, right? An impulse to go somewhere, an impulse to put your charger in the car, an impulse to make yourself whatever it is, like an impulse, you'll have an impulse to call someone, right? And if you deny that impulse, you always look back on that with judgment. You're like, dang, I should have done this. I had that impulse and I should have, I missed it. If I just would have said the thing, if I would have said, I have this experience all the time. I have this experience all the time. And I will, like I'll have an impulse to do something or say something or speak my truth about something. And then I'll be like, I don't want that person to be upset, or I don't want to ruffle any feathers, or I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, or whatever it is, right? Whatever reason I deny that impulse, and that's my like I'll just do nothing. Doing nothing is better than this other thing, right? But doing nothing is also a choice. Doing nothing is also a risk, right? And it's the worst risk, because it's like then nothing will change. You just expect to do nothing and then things will just change around you. No, you have to actually act on the impulses that you receive, right? And I'm talking about the impulses is like going with the flow, right? Like think about it, it's not so much like, because a lot of people confuse efforting, like you gotta effort, I gotta struggle, I gotta hustle, I gotta make it happen. That's different than what I'm talking about in regards to denying your sloth, right? Denying your laziness. What I mean, because I think about your life is like you're flowing down a river, right? And you're moving down a river, and if you don't do anything, the river is going to take you where you're supposed to go. You just have to go with the flow, right? You're just moving, and then you might have to like move this way, follow the impulse to move this way so you can miss that rock that's coming up, or the log, right? Or swift past the tree, right? So you can do something, right? You're following it. You're following your impulses to move down the river. But sloth is like, I'm going to dig my feet into the ground and I'm just not going to move, right? I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to stay here and just fight it, And that's a risk too. And so it seems like, okay, I'm not moving, I'm not doing anything, but you're getting all of this impact, right? Because you're afraid of the trees and the ruffles that might come down the line. So instead you decide to stay exactly where you are because of your fear of moving down and what might come on the end of the journey. But staying there is also a risk because you don't know what might be coming up behind you. There might be other people, tumbling behind you. There might be, a big log that's floating in the river that might be coming up behind you. And you're just saying, I'm going to stay here and not do anything. Just like hold myself to where I'm at, because where I'm at is comfortable. Where I'm at is safer than where I'm going to be going. And you're basically creating that you're creating a circumstance where the future that will manifest is something that you won't like. You're already accepting that, right? So now I want to talk about lust. Now, lust in regards to business, a lot of times we often imagine it in a physical or sexual context, which yes, but it goes far beyond that as well. Right? Lust is an overwhelming desire for something, right? Fame, status, wealth, without regard for the consequences, right? And as entrepreneurs, when we become obsessed with success for success sake, right? That lust can blind us to what truly matters, right? Our purpose, our mission, and the impact that we might want or might make. So we're constantly blinded by these cravings, right? That are just for the thing, right? It's just that thing. I just want it because it's that thing, right? So the question is, are you chasing success because you truly want to make a difference, or are you lusting after recognition and validation? right? Because if you're just lusting after recognition and validation, then you're really not gonna, I don't think that, I feel like you're gonna have a rude awakening, right? And if you're lusting after approval, you're feeding your fear of failure every single day, and you don't want to feed the fear. You don't want to feed the fear because you don't need approval. You don't need approval. You are ready. The only person you need to show approval to is yourself. You can validate your own self, and that's it. It's the only person you need validation from, right? Because you are aligned with God, your inner being, and when you are seeking approval outside of of yourself, then you are basically admitting that you believe that you are not of the Father. You are not of God. It means that the only person who has authority over you to tell you that what you're doing is right is other people. And you're going to have a rude awakening. James 1:14-15 says, but each person is tempted when they are dragged away by their own evil desires and enticed. Then, after desire has conceived, it gives birth to sin. And sin, when it is full grown, gives birth to death. And that death, it's, okay? So, your dreams go to die where you have unmitigated desire, right? Wrath or anger often comes when things don't go our way, right? When we face rejection, when we face failure or obstacles in our entrepreneurial journey. But what you don't realize is that wrath doesn't just harm others, it destroys you from within. Right? Wrath can make you bitter, cloud your judgment, and lead you to make impulsive decisions that sabotage your long-term success. I've had experiences like this, and I remember when I used to work at the Dallas Theater Center, right? I was an actor, a company member, so I was getting paid to act on stage. But I started to experience frustrations with the marketing team because I felt like, I was on stage every single day and I would look out into the houses and there was nobody there. It's like our audiences would sometimes be 30% capacity. And that was frustrating. It was really annoying, especially because I have a background in design and the target demographic that they were wanting to reach out to was my demographic. And I felt like I knew a lot about what could be done, and I would say things and no one would listen to me. So I started to I think I let my ego feed into it a bit, but I started to get frustrated more so, and I started to tell, I started to say things and send emails and just clearly getting more and more frustrated and not realizing that my wrath had taken over, because my fear of failure was being masked by, I thought that this efforting would help, and all it did was push everybody away. All it did was make people not want to work with me, even though I was an amazing actor. The people, on the acting side, everybody loved working with me. But anytime a new marketing piece came out or anything, they'd be like, "Oh, here goes Ace," right? And I had to understand that. I had to learn that. And my time at Dallas Theater Center didn't really end the best. It's not that, not that I was blacklisted or anything like that, but, it didn't end well. And I have regrets about that because I allowed myself to be taken over by wrath. And I didn't realize where that was coming from. And there's been lots of circumstances in my life that I can look at. And I wasn't like going and screaming at anybody or doing anything like that. And so, but it was a lot of efforting out of frustration and really out of fear that nobody's going to come to these shows and I'm never going to make it because the marketing team won't get their act together. And, and I just allowed myself to be, to grow bitter and cold from that. So, is your anger toward your circumstances really just masking your fear of failure? Because the truth is, wrath often stems from a feeling of helplessness and fear that you're not in control. And that's how I felt at DTC. I felt like I was not in control of my own fate. And that's never true. You are always in control of your own fate. You are always in control of your own circumstances, right? You are always in control. You are always in control of you. Right? You are always in control. Stop giving away your power. Stop giving away your power. Stop giving away your power. The Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, anger, if not restrained, is frequently more hurtful to us than the injury that provokes it. Your wrath in the face of failure is often far more damaging than the failure itself. Right. And last but not least, we have gluttony. Gluttony isn't just about food. It's about excess. Right. As entrepreneurs, gluttony shows up as the constant craving for more clients, more money, more success, even if it means sacrificing your values or well-being. And here's the thing, like, there's certain aspects of life that, listen, you're never going to stop wanting. You're never going to stop desiring. You're never going to stop looking for more. That is the nature of life. That is why you were birthed. That's why you came from source energy into this physical body, because you're going to desire more, right? You want more. You want to experience reality. You want to experience the nothing, something coming from the nothing, right? The pure vibrational frequency turning into physical frequency. You want to experience that. And so it's never going to end. You're never going to stop, right? It's never done. It's never done. The work is never done because you're never going to stop wanting things. But here's the thing. When you desire something so far that it makes you disregard all other, values and well-being, then that's when it starts to become a sin, right? When fear becomes your God, when that's the only thing that matters is stopping that, whatever that thing that you're afraid of from happening, that's the only thing that matters, then you're in sin, right? And that's really where the caveat comes, because it's not a sin to have a desire. It's not a sin to have a want or to want something different than what you have, right? Actually, like, that's just the nature of reality. That's just the nature of being, right? We want something different than what is. So we're going to keep wanting that until we transition into non-physical again. And it's still going to be more and more and more and more, right? But if it means sacrificing your values and well-being, that's where the trouble comes, right? So when your hunger for success becomes insatiable, you're out of alignment with your true purpose and are driven by fear of never having enough. And it's okay to want, but once you start letting the fear that, like, oh my God, I'm never going to have it. Nothing is going to happen. This is that's when you start making poor decisions and you start sinning. So are you driven by a healthy ambition, or are you gluttonously chasing success at all costs because you're afraid of never having enough? That's a question that you need to ask yourself. Research in psychology shows that research in psychology and constantly striving for more can lead to burnout, depression, and ironically, decreased productivity, proving that gluttony for success is self-destructive. That's why I love that, in the first chapter of the Bible, God creates everything and then he rests, right? He rests because, that's it. Like, this is good. What I created so far is good enough. And it's good, and I can chill for a little bit, and then I go back to work, right? And that's what that's teaching us. I don't know if it really matters if you believe that the world was created in 7 days. And to a God, like, what is 7 days? You know what I mean? Like, it's just a whole different, like, time is just so, especially because time is aligned with our sun, right? Our solar system. That's the way we measure time. But, you know, how does a God measure time? I don't know. And I don't think that really even matters. But what matters is that even a God takes a break, right? A benevolent God takes a break from his work. So you are a God, you are of God, you are made in the image of God. Take a break, relax. It's gonna work out, okay? You don't have to, oh more, no, I gotta do it. You gotta take a moment to rest, right? Or else, things just aren't gonna work out for you in the way that you'd like. And that would be unfortunate, I'm sure. So, fear is a manifestation of separation from source. So every negative emotion that you feel is just proof that you've drifted away from your alignment with source. When you're aligned, you feel peace, joy, and confidence. You're aligned with the fruit of the spirit. When you're out of alignment, fear and doubt take over. The question is, what's pulling you out of alignment, right? Romans 12:2 tells us, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Your emotions are meant to be a compass. When you feel bad, it's a sign that you've conformed to fear, doubt, or sin. If you feel good, you're aligned with your higher purpose. That is the only thing that matters in life. That's the only thing that matters in life. It's the only thing that matters in life is your alignment. That's the only thing that matters. So it's like when you feel bad, I want you to rewire your thinking, right? I feel bad right now. That's good. Why is it good? Because it's letting me know I'm out of alignment with source. So I need to do whatever it takes to get me back into alignment so that I can feel good. Because the goal is to feel good. The goal is not to have whatever the thing is that I want to have. That's not the goal. The goal is to feel good. Because I'm thinking that if I have the thing that I want to have, then it'll make me feel good. But that's external. That's giving your power to something else. That's creating an idol. That's worshiping some other idol. And the idol does not need to be worshiped. It doesn't matter whether or not you have the thing. It's the vibrational frequency that you're experiencing that will allow you to attract the thing into your life. And so if you're feeling bad, you're never going to attract that thing that you want. And then you're going to keep putting yourself in the position of wanting. And when you're in the position of wanting, you're vibrating on the frequency of lack, because you can't want something and have it at the same time. Duh. You can't want something and have it at the same time. If you want something, then that means you don't have it. And if you have something, that means you don't want it. Right? Like, that's just what it is. Right? I don't need it. I'm not like seeking it. Right? I've just attracted this thing to me. And that's how our earth works. That's how our planet has attracted all of this abundance and amazing experiences and an amazing economy with beautiful people. And it's very rare. We haven't seen anything like it out there in all of outer space. Not to say that it doesn't exist anywhere else, but it's obviously very, very rare for a planet to have this much abundance of life, right? So that, like, our planet is teaching us, our God is teaching us, source energy is teaching us how to make it happen. So the planet wasn't just like, oh, let me go. The planet isn't bouncing around from other planets to other planet trying to find other stuff. The planet just is attracting things to us, right? It's more of this, more oxygen, more water, more waves, more animals, more creatures, more people, right? More trees, right? All of those things just constantly being attracted and given and multiplying and giving and more and more and more and more, because this is a planet of abundance, right? So you should always find a way to think about things that make you experience it in a positive light. So if you're feeling bad, it's good. Okay? If you're feeling bad, it's good. It's a good sign because it means that your guidance system is working. Okay. All right. My goal is to feel good and I'm feeling bad. So I'm out of alignment with source. So let me do some things that make me feel good. Right? Let me stop doing the things that make me feel bad. Let me stop thinking about the things that are leading me to negative thinking. Let me stop consuming whatever, let me not watch a horror movie today. Maybe let me watch a comedy movie today. Right? Let me watch something that makes me laugh, that triggers laughter from me, right? Let me meditate. Let me quiet my mind. Let me put all of those negative thoughts away. Let me just go into my happy place. Let me go to sleep. Let me take a nap. Whatever it is that gets you into a place of experiencing positive energy, because when you're experiencing that positive energy, then you're in alignment with source and you're in the receiver mode and you're attracting. But here's the thing, you're always in the receiver mode, right? But you want to make sure that you're feeling good when you're in the receiver mode, because if you're feeling good when you're in the receiver mode, you're attracting more good. And if you're feeling bad being always in the receiver mode, you're attracting more bad. So the goal is to stop. All right? Stop that. So studies in cognitive psychology have shown that emotions like fear and anxiety stem from a conflict between our goals and our perceived obstacles, right? When we feel out of control, negative emotions escalate, proving that emotional alignment is crucial for mental clarity and success. Okay? And here's a triggering question. What's scarier? Failing or never even trying because you're paralyzed by fear? What's scarier, failing or never even trying because you're paralyzed by fear? Like, what do you think you'll be more upset at yourself about? The fact that you tried and failed, or the fact that you failed because you never tried? I ain't even try, bro. I didn't even try. The truth is, your fear isn't protecting you. It's killing your dream. Okay? Your fear is not protecting you. That fear of investing in the thing in your business, that fear of investing in your own dreams. And here's the thing about investments, right? A lot of y'all are willing to go and invest and gamble, right? Invest in Vegas, go spend your money on a slot machine. Right, you'll put $100 in you'll do $100 in a slot machine, but you won't give $100 to your family member who just started their business, or you're like, oh, it's highway robbery for them to be charging that much. Your family member, you're not going to invest in their business, but you're going to go and throw it away in some casino because you think, oh yeah, I'm going to make it rich. No, like, invest. It's a gamble. It's another gamble, right? So your fear of failure, or even to start your own business, you look at oh my God, it's going to cost me $400 to start that LLC. This is crazy. This is crazy, right? But you won't pay that $400 to start your business, right? You won't pay. You'll pay that $400 to go splurge on like you might go out to eat and spend $200, right? You might go out to eat, spend $200 on eating out. And you'll do that. You're not even realizing you're doing that twice a month. So, what's scarier? Failing? Right? Oh, I put all my money in my business and it didn't work out. Or I always had this business idea, and then I saw somebody come up with it and they did such a great job, and Now I'm just talking about how I came up with the idea of a flat screen TV first. And I'm just always gonna be there. Yeah, I came up with the idea first. Well, you never tried, so you failed. You could be that millionaire, that billionaire right now, if you just tried. Because the thing is, you're not gonna get it absolutely you're not gonna knock it out of the park, man. You're not gonna knock it out of the park the first time. Maybe you might, but come on, man. The brutal reality is that if you never face your fear, it will sabotage everything. Truly. You'll never know your true potential, and you'll spend your whole life watching others succeed while you stay stuck. Okay? You gotta keep going. Who cares, man? And here's another thing about the brand, okay? So somebody said, yep, my brand, none of my friends support it. Link in the bio, though. Okay, here's the thing I'm going to say about this, all right? Your friends are not your fans, all right? Your friends are not your fans. Stop getting mad at your friends for not being your fans. Your friends are not your target demographic. Just because your friends don't support it does not mean that your target demographic does not exist. Okay? Stop getting mad at your friends for not supporting your stuff. That's not going to make you successful just because your friend bought it. And I'm not saying friends should not support their friends. Like, listen, support your friends. But stop getting mad when your friends don't. Okay, your friends are not gonna make you rich. Cause unless your friends are rich, unless your friends actually got money to invest, like real money to invest, like, yo, I'm gonna give you $100,000 to start this business, right? That's something different. That's a business partner, right? That's an angel investor. Okay. And so, yeah, you might have some friends like that. But when we're talking about friend group, oh, my friend didn't come to my show and all of that stuff, or my friend didn't do this, my friend didn't buy my album, my friend didn't this and that. That should not stop you from pushing. Okay. All right. Like, stop getting mad at your friends. Your friends are not your target demographic, right? Your friends are not going to be the ones that make you rich. All right. So you got to get to another place. Why are they not my fans, though? Your friends, because your friends, listen, your friends are your friends because they like you. Your friends are your friends because they enjoy hanging out with you. No business involved. Your friends are not your friends because they want to be in business with you. Your friends are not your friends because they like working with you. Sometimes your friends aren't your friends because they like living with you. They don't like living with you. You know, see me and live with me is two different things, right? Maybe it's one thing to see me, but you know, just because we're friends doesn't mean we have to cross all these boundaries. So your friends are not your fans, all right? Your friends don't need to be liking every post and sharing and all of that stuff. It could help. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it. As a friend, if you want to help your friend out, do it. I'm sure it will be helpful. But when we put our focus on making sure that people like, oh, it's like my friend didn't show up, my friends didn't show up, bro, that's not what's going to make you pop off, bro. You don't have millions of friends. Okay? You got millions of fans and followers. I guarantee you don't know who Halle Berry's best friend is. You don't know who Denzel Washington's best friend is. And we don't always go on here talking, being like, oh, Denzel Washington is out here famous because his best friend had pushed him and supported him and told him that about the audition, and it was his best friend that was always at every one of his movies, and that's why he's successful. No, you don't look at a single person. You don't look at Mark Cuban and be like, oh, this must be his friends that made him successful. No, man. Your friends are not your fans, okay? Stop getting mad at your friends. Stop getting mad at your friends, all right? You can support your friends. You should support your friends. But don't get mad when your friends don't. Your friends got their own things to worry about, your own things to deal with. You guys are probably friends because you're likely in the same economic status, the same place financially. You're probably in the same place, like, spiritually. Like, you're in the same place and you're trying to break free of that. And you're trying to drag your friend, like, no, support me. Come on, support me. And that's not how it's going to work, bro. That's not how it's going to work. That's not how you're going to be famous. You're not going to get angry. That's where the wrath comes in, right? Getting angry at your friends is not going to make you famous. It's not going to make you successful. It's not going to make you rich. I promise. So anyway, that segue is over. But yeah, so that's the idea there. Okay. Your friends are not your fans. All righty. Okay. All right. So, you'll never know your true potential and you'll spend the rest of your life watching other people succeed while you stay stuck. Okay? Here's a practical exercise. I want you to identify your fear. Write down your fear, because a lot of times it's easier to so this person said, good thing I don't drag people to support me anymore. That's good. That's good. That is good to not worry about dragging people to support you, but don't use them as an excuse to stop your business, right? Don't use anybody else. Oh, this person didn't show up. This person didn't, whatever, bro. Like, yo, if I have 1 million followers, let's say I got 1 million followers, 1 million. That's a lot to a lot of people, right? 1 million followers. Wow. Okay. If I got 1 million followers, I could be like, man, I got 1 million followers. I'm doing great. Or I could be like, dang, that means there's 8.9 billion people that don't support me. Bro, 8.9 billion people aren't following you. And that's what you upset about. 8.9 billion people. You like, dang. Because I got 1 million, but I want I want that 8.9. That's what it sounds like when you're mad at your friends. And you're like, oh, so I decided to stop my business because 8.9 billion people did not support me. You got 1 million followers, yo. So if you're mad at your friends, you're looking at, I keep going down this rabbit hole. But anyway, you're mad at your friends because they didn't support you, but because you're under the delusion that your friends are in one of that 1 million. Your friends might be in the 8.9 billion. Okay. Your friends don't need to follow you. You see a lot of people who have millions of followers. They follow like 0 people or 10 people, right? Like, they don't need to follow a bunch of people. They don't need to, and it's like their friends are not like, oh my gosh, Kim Kardashian isn't following me. Like, bro, what? Yo, it's like, come on, man. Like, Kim Kardashian is friends to a lot of people. I'm sure she's not following. Okay. So stop basing your success on whether or not your friends are supporting you. Stop that. Stop blaming your friends for your business failing. It's not your friend's fault. Okay. I'm not saying that your friends shouldn't support you. It would be lovely for your friends to support you. It's lovely for your friends to be able to come to your show. But you are not failing because your friends didn't show up at your show. I'm just going to let you know that, okay? That's the hard truth. All right. So here's the practical exercise. I want you to identify your fear, right? That's step 1. Identify your fear. Step 2, ask yourself, which of the 7 deadly sins is feeding this fear? Is it pride? Is it envy? Is it greed? Right? Really ask yourself, because typically when you're feeling a fear, when you're feeling negative emotion, you can lead it to one of the 7 deadly sins in some way. Okay? So you're going to ask yourself, which of the 7 deadly sins is feeding this fear? And step 3, write down how it's holding you back. How is this fear, this sin, that you're committing holding you back? How am I being slothful? How am I being lustful? How am I being wrathful? Whatever it is, this thing, how am I being greedy? These are holding me back in some way. How is this holding me back? And 4, actively replace that thought with a faith-based affirmation. Okay? Fear isn't something you overcome once. Okay? It's a daily battle. But every day you choose faith over fear is another day you move closer to success. All right? So now what if I told you that the fear you're feeling right now is the one thing keeping you from your breakthrough? Everything that you desire is on the other side of fear. Isaiah 41:10 says, "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God." If you truly believe God is with you, then what can possibly stand in your way? You have the creator of the entire universe on your side. If you truly believe that, then what is standing in your way? Yourself, your own fear. Now, faith isn't just a religious concept. It's the driving force behind every successful entrepreneur. Steve Jobs once said, "You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever." And he wasn't talking about blind faith. He was talking about alignment with something greater. Okay? Start your day with a practice, practice that brings you back to center, whether it's prayer or meditation or gratitude journaling. Your alignment with source will set the tone for your day. So action, we want to focus on taking action. Okay? Action is the antidote to fear. The longer you stay stagnant, the stronger fear becomes. Start small, but start today. Even a small step toward your dream will weaken the grip of fear. Just the smallest step. Just outline, just like bullet point some things that you want to do with your business, right? Bullet points, start targeting some, start figuring out your target demographic, right? Surround yourself with faith-based support, right? You're not meant to do this alone. Seek out people who will remind you of your higher purpose when you're too deep in your fear to see it. Okay? Sometimes we get stuck. We're so trapped we're so consumed by this fear, by where we are. We're looking at where we are and seeing all of the things that we don't want, that it's hard for us to align with this future, right? And so you want to surround yourself with people who can remind you that, yo, you on the path, you doing it, man. You doing it. I remember one time I was feeling I keep getting these shows that aren't really, I don't get to do a lot of good work in them. And it's I'm doing these shows and whatever. And then I remember a friend calling me, posting. He posted about my show, and he was like, "Yo, my man was on this show. He had lines." And I had 2 seconds on screen basically. And he was like, "Yo, he had lines." And that stuck out to me. Oh wow. He had my man was supportive of me, was excited about just the fact that I even had lines, bro. That's something I should be excited about. I had lines on a TV show, on a very dope TV show. Yeah, maybe I didn't do any breakthrough acting, but it was a step towards, everything that I want, and I have to start somewhere. And so that helped me kind of realign. So it's helpful to have friends around you that will, just be excited in that same way. Right. So here's a reflection that I want you to think about. Are you willing to let fear rob you of your God-given potential, or are you ready to rise up and claim your success? Okay. The biggest lie fear tells is that staying safe means staying alive. But the truth is, if you let fear stop you, you're not living. You're just existing. And while we want to exist, you want to also experience the joy of existing. And that's what it means to live. That's what it means to truly live. If you're ready to stop letting fear sabotage your dreams and start aligning with your highest purpose, make a commitment today. Drop a comment below with faith over fear, and let's do this together. All right? Remember, fear is not of God. And every time you choose fear over faith, you step further from your purpose. But the minute you choose to stand in faith, you've already won. Now go claim your victory. All right? And just like that, we are wrapping up another fantastic session here on the Ace Anderson Show. Big love and thanks to every one of you who joined us live this morning. It is your energy and insights that light up this community and push us all to level up in every way possible. I want to thank everybody for commenting, for leaving your insights and, leading me to another path of speaking my truth. And, don't forget, we're here every single Monday morning, bringing that heat to start your week off right. And if today's conversation got you fired up, inspired, or just curious to learn more, please drop a comment, share this stream, and tell a friend because, word of mouth is the best influencer. And keep Ace Boogie in your thoughts and prayers, and I promise to do the same. Also, follow me on all social media platforms at Ace Shot That. And remember, we're on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok, on Snapchat, on wherever you use social media. So come follow your boy and let's keep the A-team growing strong. Until next time, y'all. And remember to always align yourself with truth, trust, and patience. And I promise you will ace your life. Peace out, y'all.